Alright, so first things first, I want to start off this video by saying to everyone who voted, thank you for voting. Your votes are appreciated. And yeah, we're doing a video on Ramen Cat now. But before we do that, I just want to go through a few things from last video that may or may not have been confusing. So first, this quote-unquote series will kind of be based around the units at level 30. So, you know, if Cameraman does get better at, more levels, then, yeah. We're not going to be counting that. So basically what I kind of want you all to know is that, yeah, we're going to be basing these units off of, how good they are at level 30. Second, honestly, what's second? Wait. I don't really know. Hold on. I don't really know, actually. Anyway, today we're going to be going over Ramen Cat and how he's an absolute wall, when going up against angel enemies in this game. And obviously this isn't what Ramen Cat looks like, this is just the design I gave for him. And yeah, I think it's mostly gonna be like last video. Maybe there's gonna be a few different things about it, but overall it's basically just gonna be last video. So yeah, and actually one more thing. Obviously, my videos aren't as high quality, because, I mean, what did you expect? Did you expect some sort of 10 out of 10 masterpiece from me? No. So if I do get something wrong, or if I just don't sound the best, if I sound like I don't know what I'm doing, that's because I don't. So, yeah, just sit back, relax, I guess, and enjoy this, epic video. That was 2 minutes already. That was way too long. Alright, first we're going to be talking about Ramen Cat's stats, but before we get into that, we're actually going to talk about his resistance. So, unlike last time, I didn't have an enemy reference, meaning I kind of just had to guess, kind of like how good Ramen Cat was. But this time, we're not going to let that happen. We're going to get a reference from an angel enemy, our angel enemy being Angel Gory, and basically we're gonna see how good Ramen Cat's resistance actually is. So yeah, let's go to Angel Gory stats. Alright, so here we have Angelic Gory's stats, but we're mainly gonna look at his DPS, which is 10,438, which, you know, after looking at Ramen Cat's health, which is only 17,000, it's really bad, right? Well, here's the thing. Ramen Cat, of course, has his resistance, and since thanks to the resistance, angel attacks only do 0.25% of what they would against any other unit against Ramen Cat. So basically what I'm saying is they're 0.75 times weaker. And after some quick divisions on my calc, short for calculator, I'm not exactly sure if this is 100% fact. What do I know? I barely know any division. But that means Angelic Gory's damage per second goes from 10,438 to 417. Now Ramen Cat can tank 5 hits or something from Angelic Gory, which is a lot better. And although Angelic Gory does attack pretty fast, you also have to remember Ramen Cat is pretty spammable. I mean, he's literally a meat shield. So it's not so even if Angelic Gory takes out one Ramen Cat, there's just gonna be another one to take its place. So yeah. And obviously, you know, this applies for all angel enemies. So a lot of angel enemies won't even be able to one-shot Ramen Cat. like a level 30 Ramen Cat. So just imagine what a level 50 Ramen Cat would be. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So basically, this is proof to show you that Ramen Cat is really good against angels. And one more thing, I remember, Angelic Gory is like considered to be a heavy hitter. Like 10,000 damage is a lot. Like damage per second, that's a lot. But you know, obviously, so like Ramen Cat, if you have Ramen Cat against an Angelic Gory, you're just like winning, you know. And if that applies for Angelic Gory, that applies for all angel enemies. And a lot of angel enemies are just heavy hitters, so yeah, Ramen Cat can kind of nullify their attacks and, you know, be able to withstand them. So basically, that kind of proves how easily he can hold off most angel enemies. Oh my god, I am out of breath. I do not know why. Alright, now back to Ramen Cat's stats. So we're going to be going through most of them and basically talking about how much of a meat shield he is. What we will not be including here is actually most of them. Most of this. What does TBA even mean? I don't know. Anyway, so we're only going to be going over the ones I deem as important. Cost, obviously 315 is really amazing for this overall amazing unit. Like, come on. You can basically buy, like, I don't know. That is a great cost for something that can survive so much damage against angels. And honestly, I will get to this later. And honestly, just different types in general. So, yeah. It's a really good cost for a really good unit. His health, 17,000, compared to Cameraman's, like, what, 8,000? That's, like, double his health and, like, 1,000 more. And that already goes to show, like, how crazy Ramen Cat's health can be. And along with that, his one knockback makes it so that, like, none of the enemies fighting against Ramen Cat can really progress unless they kill Ramen Cat. The damage isn't really that important, because, like, Ramen Cat's a meat shield. Do you really think he's about his damage? No, he's about his tankiness. His speed, he is kind of slow, but, like, he has a decent speed. He's, like, not the slowest, obviously. Range actually isn't important. Damage per second. See, like, again, that doesn't really matter since, like, you know, it's all about his health, not his damage, but whatever. And then lastly, his spawn rate, or, like, his, I forgot what it was called. When I'm editing the video, I'll, like, check what it's called. Anyway, 3.87 seconds is extremely good, and his cost and his health, like, you're getting a lot more than you're bargaining for. So, yeah. All these stats in general are just really good for tanking, and, yeah, and don't forget the resistance, and one more thing I want to say before I go to the Google slide part of this video is that, like, if you're going up against any angel stage, if you don't have a Ramen Cat, I don't think you're gonna get pretty far, in my opinion. So, yeah, there's that. Alright, so I have bad news. We're not going to the Google slide yet because I forgot to add in the Battle Cats footage for today, so we are going to be adding that in. We're going to be adding the Battle Cats footage in first, and then we're going to have transition between the footage and the Google slide, and then yeah, it's basically just gonna be the same video after that. So yeah. Alright, so here's our footage for today's video. We're going to be using Ramen Cat as a demonstration here. We're gonna be pairing him up with Courier, I guess. As you can see, he's holding it pretty well. The reason I'm using Courier as well is because Ramen Cat doesn't do a lot of damage, however that will be fixed. Like, you can fix that, and I'll tell you how later. So basically, the thing with Angel Gory is like, or the thing with the stage is that there's just a lot of enemies in it. But as you can see, Ramen Cat just now held off against the aliens and angels really easily. That's the thing. The thing about Ramen Cat is that he's really good against tanking angels, but when it comes to damage, he can't really do as well. So, yeah. But, like, paired up with other units, he can be, like, really good. Okay, it's time for the Google slideshow now. Who's ready? Who's ready for a Google slideshow? I am. I think it is significantly better than last time. I kind of know what I'm doing a little more, but, like, again, it's still not the best, so prepare yourselves. Next, I'll be talking about Ramen Cat's versatility, and, since I don't have a script for this part this time, I'm just going to, cut. I'm basically just going to do, like, a separate recording for each slide. So, yeah. Well, for most of them. So anyway, we already know that Ramen is really tanky against angels. However, he can also be really tanky against a lot of other types. And I'm going to kind of show you why in these next slides. We're going to be talking about how he can even be a great meat shield against traitless, black, alien, and floating enemies. So, let's begin. Alright, first is traitless. Most of traitless enemies you encounter in early stories of legend aren't really bad at all. Even stronger enemies like Dober PD only do a measly 5,000 damage compared to Ramen's 17,850 HP. And then, you have this. So, in conclusion for this part, Ramen Cat against Dober PD alone, Ramen Cat can take 4 hits. Alright, black enemies. Actually, I decided not to cut. We're just gonna, yeah. When it comes to black enemies, Ramen becomes more of a distraction rather than a meat shield, being able to stall a lot of black enemies, but not really being able to be a meat shield, because of their damage and their attack frequency. And then, you have this. Alien. I've basically used Ramen Cat for the entirety of Into the Future chapters 1 and 2 and hold on. I have basically used Ramen Cat for the entirety of Into the Future chapters 2 and 3. Ursa Major, for example, only does 1,000 damage, with all unstarred alien treasures, and only 2,000 damage when strengthened, which, like we established, is nothing compared to Ramen's HP. Wait, hold on. And then, here's the picture here. I think that means Ramen could, like, tank 9 hits from Ursa Major with the strengthen, and, like, 18 without the strengthen. So, yeah. And then, lastly, for the types, we have floating. Most floating enemies are pretty fast and do a lot of damage. Not enough to stomp a Ramen Cat, though. Even enemies like Brawlo can't one-shot Ramen Cat. Yeah. So, just to establish this now, I don't know why I did it later, or why I didn't do it earlier, but, we're basically talking about with, like, for example, with the aliens, I'm talking about with, the treasures maxed out, and I'm also talking about 100% enemies. So, like, obviously the enemies do more damage, with higher magnifications, but that doesn't really matter since Ramen will still be pretty strong against them. So, yeah. In conclusion, although not being his specialty, Ramen Cat's HP still makes... Wait, hold on. Okay. In conclusion, although not being his specialty, Ramen Cat's HP still makes him a viable unit against multiple types. For some types, he can act like a meat shield. For other types, he can kind of just be there to stall. And that's it for the Google Slides part. So, yeah, I did that epically this time. Alright, now for Ramen Cat's stats. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. They don't really seem that interesting to me, but, let's go over them. So, first we have resist slow. I guess. I don't know, from what I can remember, I don't really remember any angel enemies that can slow. And, yeah. But if you want to get it, again, if you want to get it for, like, other types, if you want to get it so that Ramen Cat can be good against other types, then I guess so. Resist knockback, probably the least important one, if I'm being honest. Or maybe resist curse, I don't know. Resist knockback is just, like, why? Why would you have it? Because, like, Ramen Cat already has, like, one knockback anyway, so, like, what's the point of getting him to resist a knockback? Just doesn't really make much sense to me. Resist curse, I mean, listen, Ramen Cat is very good, but I'm not sure if you're willing to take him that far for, like, Uncanny Legend stuff. However, I can't remember, because, like, obviously, I have not encountered Papu, and I do not plan to. If you don't know, Papu is, like, I think the strongest angel enemy in the game. And from what I can remember, he can curse enemies, or he can curse your units. So maybe they, gave Ramen Cat this talent so he could counter Papu. And then, of course, you have your defense buff and attack buff. See, usually I wouldn't talk about this, but here's the thing. With defense buff, since Ramen Cat already has, like, a lot of health, you could just give him even more to make him even tankier. And for his attack buff, like I said, in the footage, he doesn't do, and, like, in the stats, he doesn't do a lot of damage because he's a meat shield, but, like, you can fix his damage, and how? By getting an attack buff. I don't know how good the attack buff is, but I'm gonna, if you want to make Ramen Cat a meat shield and an attacker, be my guest. You can invest in this. Overall, I think the best talent here has to be the defense buff, because you could just make Ramen Cat better. But, yeah, that's it for his talents. Wow, you actually made it to the end of the video? I'm impressed. No, but in all seriousness, thank you for watching this video. It may not seem like it, but I did actually, like, try to put in some work into it, and, I think I will be pretty proud of the finished result when I'm finished editing and stuff. Overall, some final notes. I don't really know. All I can tell you is that if you don't have Ramen Cat, you're not gonna get very far with angels, and, yeah. So, you know what? My word of advice, just true form your rocker cats. And, just to let you know, just a little information on the next voting poll, for the next unit I cover. It's gonna be the same units, but we're just gonna, like, leave Ramen out of it, so it's gonna be Can, Courier, and Sanzo. So, yeah. And I'll probably, you know what, with how things are going, unless I feel, like, really motivated, I'll probably just make, like, a video every week. So, yeah. Expect the poll to come out soon, and, yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Bye-bye!